This is Lee Merrick. Welcome to my presentation on student engagement in higher education. My chapter was Chapter 2, Engaging Students of Color. We are going to go over a number of items, including an overview, our critical concepts. Those critical concepts become expanded in creating equitable environments and engagement opportunities, student engagement strategies, the conclusion, and my references. Students of color. The U.S. higher education system has invested increasingly in student engagement for students of color in the last several decades. Substantial disparities continue in the quality of college student outcomes along racial lines. Inequalities are believed to exist because not all student engagement opportunities serve all racial groups equally well. Engagement can improve the outcomes for students of color, but there is limited evidence that the engagement opportunities equalize college outcomes and experiences. Institutions often frame student engagement as a one-size-fits-all, and even though they offer ample engagement opportunities, they approach it as though all students will have equal ability to thrive on those campus activities or opportunities. The vast body of evidence takes social context and identities and the cultural context into consideration and how it shapes our higher education experiences. Institutions attempting to better serve students of color need to create equitable engagement opportunities by considering and incorporating knowledge from those communities of color and from the students of color. Our critical concepts: campus racial climate and campus racial culture. Campus climate is considered an ambiguous concept defined as the current perceptions, attitudes, and expectations that define the institution and its members. Since campus climate can be fairly flexible, institutions attempt to use the malleable nature of climate to get immediate results and improve the experiences of students of color. Because the immediacy of results in changing the climate, institutions also quickly diminish their efforts and fail to continue those efforts to improve those experiences for students of color. Campus culture is defined to be the deeply embedded, persistent patterns of the norms, values, practices, beliefs, and assumptions that shape the behavior of individuals and groups in a college or university and provide a frame of reference within which to interpret the meaning of events and actions on and off the campus. Culture is the fabric of the university experience. It's the underlying and more foundational piece. It shapes and defines the experiences of everyone in the environment. It is much more difficult to change that than the campus climate. All right, we're going to talk now briefly about the campus racial climate. It is a strong indicator of the overarching nature of the overall campus climate when we are addressing the campus racial climate. It provides significant insights and how it can influence engagement for students of color. I don't think anyone would be surprised to find out that hostile campus racial climates influence the interactions of students of color both in and out of the classroom. It diminishes the quality, frequency, and potential for positive outcomes. It diminishes the students of color's patterns of engagement, and it can be the catalyst that inhibits student of color's growth, development, and retention. Campus racial climate is a result of both external and internal forces. External forces can include governmental policies and legislation, Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, the Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, the socio-historical context of the locale, whether it be region, state, city, or the entire United States, That has a lot of influence as well. There have been over 100 racial massacres in the United States between 1865 and 1940. And just because they occurred and we stopped looking at this for my purposes in 1940, that does not mean that they ended there. There's the Tulsa Massacre, the Mississippi Burning, what's referred to as the Long Hot Summer. That would be 1967. There's also events in Minneapolis as a result of George Floyd's murder, and more recently in Atlanta as a result of Tyree Nichols' racial assault and death. There's also court filings, the Supreme Court of the United States repealing affirmative action. Those are all external forces that come into our campus racial climate. Internal forces include the institution's history and legacy